All right, so now that we've learned a little bit about what was happening to Philip on his hike, we're going to kind of look at some of the signs of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke and heat cramping. So if we look at this picture right here, we can look at heat exhaustion on the left versus heat stroke symptoms on the right. So it becomes more dangerous as we go from left to right. So on the left, heat exhaustion, one sign is that you have moist and clammy skin. So clammy meaning like when you're nervous because you have to talk in front of someone, your hands get clammy. Versus heat stroke, you have dry, hot skin. So your body is no longer has enough water to keep sweating. And so you're already dehydrated, you're past that point, you already have suffered from heat exhaustion, and so now your skin is just very dry and hot. Number 2, on heat exhaustion, your pupils are dilated. So the black part, your pupil of your eye, has become dilated in heat exhaustion. Whereas in heat stroke, your pupils are constricted, meaning the little black pupil part in your eye is very small. It's very tight and small, constricted. And then lastly, the third symptom of heat exhaustion, or one of them, is you have normal or subnormal temperature. So your body temperature might be a little bit lower than normal versus just to compensate for the heat that you're experiencing. But once you've gone past that heat exhaustion point and you cross over to the right side, heat stroke, you'll have a very high body temperature. So your body's pretty much shutting down at that point. It's too hot. Your body's overworking, and so your body temperature is raised. So if we keep reading, we have 3 heat-related illnesses involved with hiking or any physical activity. So they are heat cramping, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. They're in level 1, level 2, level 3, basically. So heat cramping occurs when you become dehydrated and experience leg or abdomen cramps, and you sweat more heavily than normal. So some of y'all have gotten a cramp in your toe. You're probably dehydrated. It's not necessarily heat cramping, but it might be a sign of it if you are outside in the heat. Heat exhaustion, level 2, can occur after you've been exposed to high temperatures for several days. So like Philip, he hiked the day before 6 miles, and then he got up and hiked again 8 miles in the sun. So he was probably experiencing some of those heat exhaustion signs. Symptoms for heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, weakness, dizziness, dark-colored urine, fainting, fatigue, confusion, muscle cramps, nausea, and weak pulse. Remember, your urine is an example of how hydrated or dehydrated you are. The more clear or translucent that your urine is, the more hydrated you are. So when you wake up in the morning, a lot of the times your urine has a darker color to it because you haven't drank water all night. Okay, so that's a good sign to tell if you're hydrated or not. And the third level of any heat-related illness is the heat stroke or sunstroke. This is the most dangerous heat-related illness because it can be fatal and requires immediate hospital treatment. Symptoms include throbbing headache because your body temperature is too high, confusion, nausea, dizziness, shallow breathing, and unconsciousness. So if your body gets to a point where it's too hot, like I said with heat stroke, it'll shut down. It'll cause you to go unconscious because it doesn't want you to be able to function anymore, to utilize any more energy, because it has no energy or fuel for you to do anything because it's too hot. Okay, so we're going to stop right there and just assess our learning.